For me, there's no greater feeling than walking in a natural forest. A forest isolated and far removed from where you're likely to meet other walkers. But particularly in this ancient forest and glen, with the River Esk below me there are some fascinating relics, natural relics dating back to Pictish times. There's more we don't know about the Picts than what we know, and these relics in the form of caves are absolutely fascinating. But why I'm here today, there is a series of caves, and there's one particular cave with a traditional association with King Robert the Bruce. This place is saturated with many old trees, beautiful trees. It's the first striking thing that comes at me when you walk in an ancient glen like this is the variety in trees and how old these are and how deep these roots penetrate as they go into the steep escarpments up there. A phenomenal, magical place, even on its own merit with trees. One of the ancient stones here that are covered with moss, and who knows what inscriptions. There are many rocks here with Pictish designs on them, but who knows what is lying under the moss here. But that is a perfectly cut seat into the rock. Even on the nice days in Scotland, we get our share of rain, you know, but this place is phenomenal. It really is phenomenal and so quiet. The bird songs are absolutely captivating. These old rock seats here are also amazing. You know, there's one cut into both sides of the rocks here. There are a few of them in the glen, and I have no idea of when they date back to. They're obviously old and they're well cut into the rock, But some of the caves up there, not caves that you go deep into, but rocks of shelter, are amazing places. And back in medieval times, back in the time of Bruce, these places would have been well known. One prominent man from this area was William de Ramsay of Dalhousie, or Dalwolsey as it was known. Now, we don't know a lot about his connection with Robert the Bruce, but what we do know is that William de Ramsay signed the Ragman's Roll, and he also fought for Bruce at the Battle of Bannockburn. So they were connected, they had connections. And let's press on now and see if we can find Bruce's cave. This is indeed a phenomenal place. It's a phenomenal cave. It's full of ducots inside. It's much too slippy for me to get up into. It's not so much getting in, it's getting out safely enough. Part of it has been sealed up, so there's been 2 or 3 windows in there. Apparently there are 3 subterranean chambers to it. One's known as the King's Gallery, the King's Dining Room, and the King's Bedroom. You know, when you go in search of legend, particularly characters like Robert the Bruce and William Wallace, there are many place names and ancient landmarks associated with them. There's a great number of Wallace caves. There's a great number of Bruce caves. There's a Wallace cave just about a mile from here, further along Roslin Glen. They also have stones named after them. The Great Stone at Raploch Moss and various other stones that say Bruce rested here after battle, or trees as well. The Wallace Oak. If you go to Torwood, there's another tree there associated with William Wallace. So we grab at folklore, we grab at the great tales that are told about our heroes and that are inflated about our heroes because they were men. But when you create legend out of someone, you create an altogether different profile and a different story. And although I've got no doubt that Wallace and Bruce would have been associated with some of these caves in the area, I mean, the caves here are very close to Dalhousie, so we know that Bruce had a connection with William de Ramsay, who fought at Bannockburn with him, and it's very possible when English patrols were coming through the area that this was a great refuge. It's certainly the whole glen, the whole forest is a great refuge for outlaws or anyone not wanting to be found. And although the King's Cave is a remarkable place, there's really no evidence that Robert the Bruce was there, but that's not to say he wasn't, you know. When we delve into the murky world of myth, legend and folklore, as intriguing a place as it is, I love it, and I love walking in the footsteps there. But we have to treat it as legend. Was he here? Maybe yes, maybe not. But one thing is for sure, it will forevermore be known as the King's Cave. And when you walk in the footsteps of Robert the Bruce, which I do, we have to consider tradition, legend, and the tales which have been spun through the centuries. That's what makes all these historical searches all the better. This is where we can dig deep, and sometimes you can separate what's fantasy from what might have happened. But this is a great place here. This is Hawthornden. The King's Cave lies in the cliffs beneath Hawthornden Castle. It was owned originally by the Abernethys, I think, back in the day, and it has gone strong through the centuries. But back in Bruce's time, back in medieval times, close by, the Battle of Roslin happened here, which I intend to do a nice film on in the near future. But this place is steeped in history, and when you go back to Pictish times and before, there are many signs left, mostly carvings in the rocks of their presence. There are no real records of it, and this must have been an extremely wild habitat back in the day. It's certainly a place that eases the soul. And as I say, when you can walk in almost untouched habitat where the sounds of nature engulf you, it's worth every single step you take. Thanks for following in the footsteps and walking in the footsteps with me of Robert the Bruce.